For most of human history, space was quiet. A vast, indifferent sea of stars, watching, but never speaking. Then came 3I, Atlas. An interstellar traveler unlike any object we've ever recorded. It entered our solar system from beyond the reach of our own sun's gravity, and ever since, it has defied every law we thought we understood. Now, at this very moment, we stand at the most critical point in its journey. The moment where silence may end, and understanding may begin. Scientists across the planet are watching it, from the deserts of Chile to the radio observatories of China, from the high-altitude telescopes in Hawaii to NASA's deep space antennas. Every eye turned toward a single, moving speck of light, barely distinguishable from the countless stars behind it. But that speck is behaving strangely. Its brightness doesn't fade the way a comet's should. Instead, it pulses, rising and falling, as though something within it is alive, breathing in slow cosmic rhythm. Every oscillation, every shift in light, seems intentional. And in those oscillations, some believe, is the first whisper from a distant intelligence. As it drifts through the aftermath of its closest pass to the Sun, the post-perihelion phase, it is no longer a visitor merely passing by. It has become a mystery demanding an answer. And somewhere in the background noise of the universe, humanity is listening, hoping that the silence breaks. At first, it looked like noise, random fluctuations in brightness, the kind that comets often show when sunlight ignites surface ice and dust. But this was different. Every 6.8 hours, precisely, 3I, Atlas brightens by nearly 30%, holding steady for 40 minutes, before dimming again, only to repeat the exact same pattern, again and again, like a clock that never skips a beat. 18 cycles. Perfectly timed. No comet, no asteroid, no known natural process behaves like this. Natural phenomena decay, fluctuate, drift. They follow the chaos of thermodynamics, not precision. But this is control. It suggests a mechanism, a feedback loop, a system responding to itself with deliberate timing. NASA's official reports describe it cautiously, periodic outgassing behavior, possibly related to rotation and surface composition. But behind those technical phrases, scientists whisper a different possibility, that 3I, Atlas is not simply rotating, but operating. Its rotation period, 11.7 hours. Its brightness cycle, 6.8 hours. Two frequencies, unrelated, yet intertwined. As if two separate systems are working independently inside the same body. For something tumbling through space, that's impossible. For something constructed, it makes perfect sense. We have seen this pattern before, not in nature, but in machines. Pulses. Rhythms. Controlled energy outputs. What kind of object breathes in perfect intervals while gliding through the vacuum between worlds? Something built with purpose. Something that was meant to be seen. When 3I, Atlas swung past the Sun, astronomers expected it to fragment, to lose mass, to flare, to be torn apart by radiation and gravity. But it didn't. Instead, it responded. In the moments following its closest approach, as solar winds screamed past it at hundreds of kilometers per second, our instruments detected faint radio echoes. Low-frequency bursts, timed with the same 6.8-hour pattern that defines its light signature. To most, they were noise. Background chatter from the Sun's own magnetic chaos. But a few data scientists in Germany noticed something strange. The echoes weren't random. They were structured. Harmonic. Frequencies repeating in ratios that mirrored the Fibonacci sequence, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Patterns nature uses in the growth of shells, spirals of galaxies, and even the architecture of DNA. Yet here it was, emerging from the void, encoded in solar static, as if something inside 3I, Atlas was reacting to the energy washing over it. NASA's Deep Space Network confirmed the signals persisted for nearly 4 days after perihelion. Then, silence. No further radio response. No measurable emission. Nothing. As though the object had spoken once, then vanished behind its own silence. Some believe the solar radiation triggered an internal process, a kind of awakening, a system reboot after eons of dormancy. Others suggest it was broadcasting, sending a message not to us, but through us, to something else already listening. Whatever it was, the echoes marked a turning point. Because now, for the first time in human history, something interstellar had not only entered our solar system, but had replied. Every object in space obeys gravity. Every comet, every asteroid, every planet, all dance to the same ancient tune written by Newton and refined by Einstein. But 3I, Atlas, refuses to follow. When its path was first plotted in 2024, it traced a smooth hyperbolic curve, the classic signature of an interstellar traveler. A clean arc, entering from beyond the heliopause, slingshotting past the sun, and exiting forever into the dark. That was the theory. Until, 3 months ago, its trajectory changed. By just 0.04 degrees. Barely perceptible, but impossible to explain. No gravitational interaction, no known body, no measurable jet or release of material. Yet somehow, the object adjusted its course. Ever so slightly. Like a correction. A decision. NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory confirmed it. Non-gravitational acceleration inconsistent with known cometary behavior. A phrase as cautious as it is terrifying. Because non-gravitational acceleration means something acted upon it, or it acted upon itself. Scientists attempted to justify it, perhaps gas vents, perhaps magnetic forces. But there was no outgassing, no debris trail, no rotation change. Just a silent shift. Subtle. Perfectly timed. It aligned 3I, Atlas with a new outbound vector, a heading now pointing directly toward the plane of the ecliptic, the thin, invisible disk where nearly all our planets orbit. Not away from us. Not out into the stars. But across our own celestial neighborhood. Through the heart of our system, as if following a path that had been pre-written long before we even existed. For mission analysts, the mathematics broke before the meaning did. Because there's only one way to explain a course correction that precise without fuel, without propulsion, without decay: intelligence. On the morning of October 29, 2025, 3I, Atlas reached the far side of the Sun, the point astronomers call solar conjunction. For nearly 72 hours, no telescope on Earth could see it. It was hidden, lost behind the Sun's blinding radiation. This was expected. Every deep space object goes silent when it passes behind our star. But what wasn't expected was what came next. When contact resumed, every major observatory, from NASA's Solar Dynamics Lab to the European Southern Observatory, reported the same anomaly: the data was gone. Telemetry logs corrupted. Optical records overwritten. Radio data packets incomplete, as though someone, or something, had erased the record of those missing 3 days. It wasn't just one network. It was all of them. And it wasn't random damage. Each missing file ended at the same timestamp, 3:14 Coordinated Universal Time. That number, 3 to 14, echoes through mathematics as pi, the constant that defines the geometry of circles, spheres, orbits. It was almost too poetic to be coincidence. In the aftermath, NASA's engineers described a solar interference event, but internal documents leaked weeks later suggested something else: a burst of coherent data embedded within the interference itself. Not noise. Information. Something was transmitted, not from Earth, but toward it. A structured signal embedded in radiation noise, encoded within frequencies the human ear could never perceive. When analysts reconstructed fragments of the corrupted data, they found wave patterns that formed a repeating geometric shape, a perfect spiral, golden in ratio. The same pattern that had appeared weeks earlier in the light cycles of 3I, Atlas. Was it a message? Or a reaction? Or something much larger, a synchronization event between two systems that were never meant to meet? Whatever it was, it left a blank space in every database on Earth, a silence that no one has yet filled. By early November, 3I, Atlas had cleared the solar conjunction. Telescopes caught its reflection again, a faint, pulsing speck moving outward on its vaulted path through the solar system. But something had changed. Its light was no longer random. Every pulse, every glimmer, carried sub-patterns invisible to the naked eye but unmistakable to digital sensors. Researchers at Caltech were the first to notice it, a hidden modulation in the brightness curve. When translated into binary, the fluctuations formed a repeating sequence of 12 distinct intervals. Not words. Not language. But code. When mapped as sound frequencies, it became a tone, low, haunting, mathematically precise. A frequency that resonates at 432 Hz, the same frequency found throughout natural harmonics, the one ancient civilizations used to tune their instruments to the Earth's vibration. Coincidence? Maybe. But when astronomers overlaid the light pattern onto the orbital plane of the solar system, something extraordinary appeared. The pulses corresponded to positions, coordinates, aligning perfectly with the locations of Jupiter, Earth, and Neptune at the exact moment of the last data blackout. 3 planets. 3 points. 1 triangulation. Was it mapping something? Scanning? Or aligning with a frequency already embedded within our solar system? NASA's public statements called it photometric interference. But behind closed doors, astrophysicists began referring to it as the code beneath the light. Because it wasn't behaving like a message we could decode, it was behaving like a handshake. A confirmation between systems. An exchange. Something had recognized something else. And in that instant, humanity stopped being just an observer of the cosmos, and became part of a conversation that may have begun long before we learned how to listen. Not long after the signal was detected, strange readings began appearing across Earth's orbital sensors. At first, they seemed like background clutter, unidentified reflections, high-altitude interference. But within days, a pattern emerged. Several faint, metallic objects appeared at high Earth orbit, moving slowly, holding formation. Each positioned along the same ecliptic line that 3I, Atlas had recently crossed. They weren't satellites. They weren't debris. Their orbits were too clean, too deliberate. Ground radar stations in Australia, Japan, and Alaska confirmed what optical telescopes were already hinting at: multiple unidentified bodies, each roughly the size of a small aircraft, reflective but not transmitting. Silent. Stationary. Watching. One by one, they appeared, then vanished, without propulsion trails, without transponders, without origin. NASA quietly classified the detections as non-repeating anomalies, but internal documents, later leaked through amateur radio archives, refer to them simply as the Watchers. They are always aligned with 3I, ATLAS, projected outbound trajectory, as if waiting. Tracking. Or perhaps, escorting. Some believe these objects were already here, hidden among our own satellites, awakened by the same signal that 3I, Atlas emitted. Others fear they arrived after, summoned by whatever message was transmitted during those lost 72 hours behind the sun. But what unsettles even the most rational minds is their silence. No radiation. No communication. No acknowledgement of our existence. Just presence. If 3I, Atlas is the messenger, then perhaps the Watchers are its eyes, observing, measuring, ensuring that the message has been received. And for the first time, we may not be looking out into the universe, but the universe may be looking back. Now, 3I, Atlas is leaving us. Its path curves gently beyond Neptune's orbit, fading into the outer dark, where the light of the sun becomes only a memory. Telescopes strain to keep sight of it, but each passing day, its reflection dims, until it becomes indistinguishable from the background stars that birthed it. Whatever it came to do, it has done. For months, it defied every rule we knew. It changed trajectory without force. It pulsed in perfect rhythm. It whispered in light, then answered through radio silence. It erased our records, then left behind a code that maps the architecture of our own world. And now, it drifts quietly into the dark, leaving behind only the data, and the unease that comes with realizing we were being watched, not by chance, but by design. What if we were never meant to intercept it? What if its arrival wasn't discovery, but confirmation? Confirmation that we're no longer alone. That somewhere beyond the cold edge of the Oort cloud, there are minds that already know we exist. Maybe 3I, Atlas was never the messenger. Maybe it was the message itself. A fragment of something vast, ancient, moving silently from star to star, system to system, reminding every civilization it visits that they are part of something greater, something watching, something waiting. And as it disappears into the endless black, we're left with a single question, one that echoes in the minds of every scientist, every dreamer who dared to look up. Was this contact, or a countdown?